The first week of climate conversation in Glasgow is punctuated by mass protests around the world. On Saturday, Nottingham joined more than 200 other cities in a day of action. Amongst the crowd here, ETIENNE Stott, the Olympic gold medalist, won for Great Britain as an athlete. Now he's fighting for the planet.
Well, we're already seeing the effects of 1.2 degrees of global overheating. Floods, fires, droughts and famines are happening all around the world, but this summer we've seen them closer to home in Europe. You know, Great Britain has a real risk of flooding. We've got a lot of low-lying areas from coastal and river flooding. These things will get worse, and one of the main things that worries me is our food supply is at great risk. Our food, we are not self-sufficient in this country. Our food is grown all around the world, and we actually are at risk when we have global overheating really kicks in. Well, our food supplies will become much more strained, and that will create a massive strain on civilization. And all these extreme weather events really put a lot of pressure on our infrastructure as well. And as we've seen, during COVID, and as we've seen on recent floods, it really causes a lot of problems, and we're not set up to deal with that.
So far, COP26 has produced notable pledges. More than 40 countries have signed up to phasing out coal-powered plants, while many more promise to plant trees in places decimated by deforestation. But Etienne says it's all for show on the global stage.
Well, I think it's interesting. We're already starting to see, the positions being taken, and I basically call it greenwash. They're saying that they're doing well, but as I say, 2050 is 20 years too late on the current carbon budget. And there's a huge problem here as well, is that the funding to support developing countries in the majority world to make this green transition, to jump this dirty fossil fueled transition to get towards green energy, we need 400 billion for that to happen. At the moment, they're trying to scrape together 100 billion and falling short on that. So what I really want to see is action rather than the words.
More than 2,000 people are here, each with a personal reason to end a problem that affects so many.
I've come here because it's part of caring for our common home and caring for each other, looking after our climate and our environment.
For me, I'm a mother, and I've got a child. She's now 23, so she's an adult child. But, I have to think about her. What kind of planet am I going to leave her with?
The world leaders are meeting, but they've been meeting for 25 years, and still greenhouse gases are going up and up. They make loads of promises, they do something, but they are not doing enough.
Nottingham's ambition to be the first carbon-neutral city in the country by the year 2028 means that local leaders want to see global governments take greater action and avoid a climate catastrophe.
The reason that I left Parliament in 2010 was because I felt we weren't taking the climate emergency seriously enough inside Parliament, and that change was going to have to be driven from outside. And sadly, that's why we're here today, because all the really big transformative ideas are still outside the parliamentary arena rather than inside. What I'm part of, this big national, international movements, is to say, if we want to avoid going off a cliff, now is the time to grab hold of that, live differently and live better and survive.
For a week, COP26 has been going on, and the world leaders and governments have come together in Glasgow to have their say, to make their promises, to make their pledges. Now, as part of this global day of climate action, which Nottingham is a part of, they're saying it's time for you to listen to us. COP26 continues this week. More promises and protests are expected. Will Hollis reporting from Nottingham in the East Midlands.